If you're a frontline worker, you need to hear this. Are you aware that as a frontline worker and a Canadian, you still have the right as a Canadian citizen to go to a rally and speak about how you feel about whatever cause or whatever injustice that you might be moved by here in Canada? You're allowed to do that. You're not allowed to say, hi, I work at blah blah and this is how I feel, blah 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 blah. You're not allowed to do that. That's true because, it makes sense. However, you're allowed to still go as a citizen. Hi, I'm Kim, and I'm wanting to point out this injustice, and I'm standing up against that injustice. So I guess there's been questions coming up that I've been hearing quite a bit about in our circles about when are we allowed to film the police? You're allowed to film the police anytime you feel that they need to be filmed because they are abusing their power. If you happen to be at work for an organization that works closely with the police, in other words, you're having to interact a lot with the police. If the police ever abuse their power while you're at work, you put in a complaint. You make a formal complaint. You do the paperwork. Document what you see as what they're doing. Sometimes that might entail filming them outside, taking photos. And you do a report, an internal report, and you push it through. That's what you do. Because that's what we've had to do always. You got to be professional. It's unfortunate that we often don't know anymore what to do. And we're being misled. So, yeah, all we got to do is remember what our rights are and have professional boundaries. If you're at work and you witness police during your work time abusing their power, doing something sketchy, that's a formal complaint. And oftentimes we have union now, so you can also get a union rep if you don't feel like your complaint was taken seriously and so on. And if it feels like your complaint's not taken seriously and this is about human rights, then you have to make a decision about going outside to get other help. So that's something that you have to look at. And also sometimes people are on their way to work and they see things where the police are abusing their power, abusing people's human rights who are Canadians. Yeah, grab that video, grab that photo. Don't speak while you're taking that video or photo is best. And just send it to other people who can help get it out as soon as possible, because that's we have a right. Like we have, what do you call that? Responsibility. Who takes care of us? Who protects us? We do. Just because you're on your way to work doesn't mean you cannot film the police, and there's a lot of your friends who can get that information out. So yeah, we just got to be very thoughtful, and we have to always protect the clients of where we work. That's what's important. We're there for them. So yeah, if they're being abused by police while we're at work, professional internal complaints that happen, that is what. Another thing that is true is that sometimes when you're at a job, you have co-workers or higher ups who are also possibly abusing their power or doing things that are unjust. There is usually a process from within that you can deal with that and take care of that. If it's not dealt with because someone who has a lot of power is the bully or whatever, then yeah, people go outside because we have to protect the client, we have to protect the client. So that's a whole other ball, because that would be an outside, you'd have to go, and get help from outside and put in a complaint. Could be human rights, could be legal, criminal, but again, that's something to look into. It's a very different ball game, but it also is something someone just pointed out to me, it is also still a thing to consider and know about your rights. So yeah, isn't it awesome to know that you have rights as a Canadian citizen and you are legally allowed to speak out at a rally about injustices you see as an individual, not as your organization or where you work, and you cannot mention where you work. And if someone yells out, don't you work blah, 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 at blah, 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 I'm not here in the capacity of my work or as an employee. I'm here as a Canadian citizen. Respect and in solidarity of everyone who's trying to fight against injustice at a time when fascism is trying to rise its ugly. All power to the people.